this is the beginning of something huge. The Seahawks just made a sneaky move that's going to no doubt make their number one defense in the league even scarier next year. Today, we're breaking down the Seahawks' newest coaching hire, the latest updates on the offensive coordinator search, a player who could be a major target for us, and why the league should be terrified. Major news coming out of Seattle as the Seahawks are hiring former Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr as inside linebackers coach. After spending 2 years leading Baltimore's defense, Orr will now rejoin Mike Macdonald, this time in Seattle. Orr had interviewed for defensive coordinator jobs in recent weeks and also had been requested to interview for the Raiders' DC job, but he elected to join the Seahawks. What is up, everyone? Kyle Guerrero here, bringing you another episode of Seahawks Digest, where we bring you everything Seattle Seahawks news related as it is happening in real time. And the Seahawks made a really sneaky move that is going to make our number one defense even better next year. Because we just brought in the Ravens defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, to be our inside linebackers coach. Today, we're going to get into why this is going to be such a big move, updates on our offensive coordinator search, and a player who has been linked to the Seahawks all week. Let's get into it. But before we do, we have noticed that 98% of you guys are not subscribed. If you guys are enjoying the Seahawk content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps us with the algorithm on this channel. So if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Seahawks news all offseason long, please subscribe. Now let's get into it. So let's give you guys a little bit of backstory on who Zach Orr is. He was part of Mike Macdonald's elite Baltimore defense in 2022 and 2023. He took over as defensive coordinator when Mike Macdonald joined the Seahawks, and he's kind of been there ever since. He's had interviews this offseason with multiple other organizations to be their defensive coordinator, but he took a demotion to join the Seahawks as an inside linebackers coach. This is absolutely insane because going from defensive coordinator to inside linebackers coach is a demotion. But Zach already knows Mike Macdonald's system, and that is why he is joining us, because he knows that two of them together can make the number one defense in the league even better next year. This is a guy who I've been hearing has head coaching aspirations. And yeah, he was getting defensive coordinator interviews all this offseason. So this is a move by Zach to bet on himself and bet on the Seahawks. That the Seahawks defense is going to be so good this year that he might even bypass another defensive coordinator job. He is betting that the Seahawks defense is going to be so great this year that he is going to have teams lining up next offseason to hire or at least interview him in open head coaching vacancies. So let's talk a little bit more about what happened last time Zach and Mike worked together in Baltimore over their 2 years in 2022 and 2023. In 2022, the Ravens defense allowed 315 points over 17 games for an average of 18.5 points per game, the fourth best in the NFL. They followed that up in 2023 by allowing just 280 points, the number one defense in the league that year. And the key takeaway from this, which we already know as Seahawk fans, is Mike Macdonald builds elite, disciplined, and dominant defenses. With Zach Orr joining him in Seattle, they are essentially importing proven defensive brain trust. And this is just like such a low-key little move that most NFL fans are going to overlook. It's like signing Kupp last year or DeMarcus Lawrence. You don't really think it's that big of a deal until you notice the little things really become the big things in the big moments. Let's check out some tweets and some news articles that have been swirling around about Zach joining Seattle. Choosing the Seahawks over defensive coordinator interviews elsewhere shows he trusts Macdonald's system. Or following Macdonald to Seattle shows loyalty, but going from DC to linebackers coach is a demotion. Must really believe in Macdonald's vision or couldn't land another DC job. Ravens losing him hurts though. I don't believe he couldn't land another DC position somewhere else if he wanted it. He wanted to come back and work with Mike and honestly build the most dominant defense we've ever seen. Zach Orr passing up DC gigs, including Raiders, to reunite with Macdonald in Seattle. That's the ultimate bet on the system, not the title move. Dude knows the scheme cold from Baltimore's peak years. Seahawks D just got way scarier quietly. Who needs a coordinator tag when you can cook with the guy who already turned you into a star coach? Not to mention the team that just won the Super Bowl and is on the quest to back-to-back. Zach Orr knows Mike Macdonald's system inside out from their time with the Baltimore Ravens, so this feels like a seamless fit with the Seahawks. Passing up DC interviews to reunite says a lot. Seattle's defense is about to level up. This is just such a sneaky move that the Seahawks have just made. We are going to look back at this in a year from now, and Zach Orr is going to be wanted by every single team as defensive coordinator and may even get opportunities to interview as head coaches, depending on how this year goes. But this is an incredible signing by the Seahawks. In other news, we are just 5 days removed from the Super Bowl, and Mike Macdonald is already on the quest to get us a new offensive coordinator. It's been known that we have been interviewing internally, but the Seahawks have gone out to externally interview a few other guys this week, and some of those names are Brian Fleury, San Francisco's 49ers tight end coach, and Connor Senger, Arizona Cardinals pass game specialist. And two of these names are interesting. Connor Sengel, he was great with the Cardinals this year. He really helped Jacoby Brissett become one of the best kind of passers, or at least kind of mid-tier guys throughout the season. He really overachieved what we all were thinking they would do. And Brian Fleury, coming from Kyle Shanahan's run game offense, just, another great guy to interview. On top of those two names, the internal guys that we are interviewing is Andrew Janocko, the quarterbacks coach of the Seahawks now, Jake Peetz, which we've chatted about before, our passing game coordinator, Justin Outen, run game specialist, assistant offensive line coach, and Mike Macdonald blocked the Raiders from trying to interview Outen just this week, so he could be one of the key guys that we're looking at right now. And finally is Mac Brown, our tight ends coach. So most of these guys now are going into second interviews, probably third interviews for the guys we're very interested in this upcoming week. So I would say we have a hire done by the end of next week at the latest, so we will keep you guys updated with that. And last but certainly not least, we have a little bit of drama, and drama's always fun. So looking at Marlon Humphrey, who is a star cornerback over with the Ravens right now, he was spotted at the Seahawks Super Bowl parade this year, and that has rubbed a lot of Ravens fans the wrong way. And some of them are even calling out the organization to release him because of that. It is known that he's close with Mike Macdonald from their years together. But I don't know, going to another team's Super Bowl parade that you're not a part of it's kind of fishy, unless there's kind of some underlining here that, Marlon may become a Seahawk in the future. Especially having that past experience with Macdonald, and Marlon had some really great years with him. I could definitely see him coming to the Seahawks. And just to have a little fun here as well, we are in need of a cornerback. Reek Woolen is most likely walking this year. Josh Jobe is also a free agent, so we don't know what's happening with either one of those guys. And it sucks that Humphrey is not a free agent right now, because look at the stats he's put up in Baltimore over the last 8-9 years. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro. And he's a guy that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He is one of those veteran guys that I've been preaching about all offseason that we should go for. He is a guy that is on an expensive contract right now that we will look into, but next year when it kind of runs up, he could be a key guy that we target for a little bit of a team-friendlier contract. He would come in and just want to win the Super Bowl. He'd be one of those experienced vets that essentially just goes ring chasing towards the later years of their career. So just diving into his contract a little bit, he did sign a 5-year, $97.5 million contract with the Ravens in, I think it was 2020. So that runs up at the end of next season. And it also looks like he has a $26 million cap hit this year. So the Seahawks would definitely not be trading for a guy like that unless the Ravens want to retain a bunch of that or he gets cut, which again, it's probably not going to happen, but we can dream. But just for a little bit of fun with all of those points that we have just gone over, should Marlon Humphrey be a guy that the Seahawks target? Comment yes or no down below and let me know why you think what you think. That's going to do it for today's episode of Seahawks Digest. What do you guys think of this Zach Orr signing? Please let me know down below. Also comment, who do you think should be the Seahawks' next offensive coordinator? And if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We are building a great Seahawks community here, and the engagement has been great since we started. Till next time, I'm Kyle Guerrero. Go Hawks.